They don't give a
teachers.
damn about public trust.
Welcome to Pull the Pin Already, a place where average veterans come to share their opinions on the world we live in. We can't guarantee you're going to like them, but we'll guarantee they're genuine. I'm Jim,
And I'm Mike.
and it's time to pull the pin.
Let's go.
Well, Mike, what do we got?
Uh,
You know what, Mike? Actually, let me take this one for a change.
whoa.
You know
Okay.
why? You know
Why is
why
that?
I want to take this one? Because
Why you want to take this one?
in one of our shows, we had a comment, and the comment was in reference to you need to research. And it was specifically directed at me, so I guess I'm supposed to be upset or something. But I think it was a little misguided because
Oh, well, that was the day you called me crying, right?
that was that day. You
Yeah,
are
yeah.
absolutely right. But I'm so glad that you gave me a shoulder to lean on and a nice massage when we were done, that I am so much better right now.
That was a little
Oh.
bit extreme there, Jim. Thank you.
Is that a
Thank you.
different time? Are we talking about a different time?
All right, continue.
Is there a memory lapse here? All
I'll
right.
call you later.
All right. Anyways, so I think we're a little misunderstood per se on what we're doing here. We're average veterans, which I think I say every show.
Yeah.
And with that, I assume that we're average people, except we have experience in the military.
Right.
And how that's going to lead into our topic today is average people have jobs, families, and things like that. They don't sit at home and research everything they see, hear, or anything. So it's very unfair to expect everyone average to know everything about everything they're talking about. And I think that's pretty common in everything we do. The difference being is if you're coming here for journalistic media, we're not journalists. We never claim to be, we'll never be journalists. Now we do look things up if we are curious about them or investigate a little more. But journalists are supposed to do research, which leads us into our topic, the media.
We use journalists as a source.
Right.
Right.
And this goes back to something we talked about before. What if you can't trust your source? So
Good point.
I see a lot of people, even media included, YouTubers, wherever you're getting your information from, social media, everyone is talking about everything. But at the surface of all of this stuff is, where are you getting the information? And I think in today's media, which something when I grew up as a little kid, that's what we went to. We went to the news, whether it was local news, national news, we went there because we did trust what we were hearing. And we had no other way of getting information. Nowadays, we have social media, which means we're getting all kinds of information all the time, and you can't trust half of it. But what's even worse to me is the media that's supposed to do the journalism. I can't trust them either.
Well, yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know what's happening. Like, if an average person doesn't do research, they're already not informed. If they
Right.
do research, they're either lied to or they're finding the truth. And you have to figure out which one that is.
That's true.
So think about the information this entire country has, maybe even the world. I don't know. I don't live all over the world anymore. But maybe we don't even have half the information 90% of the time.
Well, and then you have to talk about the source that you're using, or sources that you're using, and how trustworthy they are.
But how do you determine that?
Well, by your own beliefs. That's why when you first started talking, you said, I'm an average person with a little bit of military experience, so I don't have time to research everything. I'm like, well, sorry, Jim, you're an American. And I guarantee you, the person who made the comment, they disagree with whatever you were saying.
Sure, of course.
Disagree. And then, but when you make the comment afterwards and you say something like, okay, I don't know everything, I don't have time to research everything, then okay, that's the jab they can throw at you.
Sure.
That happens every day in America.
And I'm okay with that because that's
Everyone's always going to say, like, okay, who's your source? Like these days, if you say CNN, people say, oh, okay, CNN, wow. Or if you're on the other side and you say, someone says Fox News, it's like, oh, Fox News, okay. Oh, I know how you think, right? So that's just the world that we live in right now.
right. So I think what it comes down to is trust, right? So I don't have to research something, and I'm talking to you. We can hash it out right here. But I trust that no matter what you tell me is either going to be the truth or genuine, even if it's, not true, but it's true to you or you believe it to be true. I
Right.
don't think you're going to just intentionally lie to me. And I can't tell you how many times I've watched certain media sources blatantly lie. I mean, when you have the video right there to prove it's a lie and they lie.
Right.
That baffles me. Like an average person like me, I could tell you whatever I have to say, and yeah, it could be a lie. Maybe not intentionally. Maybe because I'm uneducated on something, or I'm ignorant.
Okay. When you talk about that word lie,
Right.
I always ask someone when they say, well, Fox News lies. I said, I'm not going to jump on that bandwagon. And I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon they say about the other side. My whole point is when I hear that, I ask the question, okay, let's build a foundation here. What do you consider to be a lie? If you ask me, it's a statement that is made and that person knows it's untrue when they make it.
Right. Which
Like
implies
you.
intent, right?
Exactly. So it's like when you say, well, I didn't intentionally lie. I get what you're
It's
saying
an
about that.
oxymoron, right?
Right. So
like military intelligence, right?
yeah. Oh, good quote from an old movie, Navy SEAL. But anyway, that's why when people say, oh, they're lying, I said, no, not really. And I first started to believe that way back with, well, Bush said there were WMDs, there are no WMDs. When I talked to soldiers who were on the ground, and they said, well, yeah, there were WMDs. We
Right.
found them. And then I'm like, well, okay, maybe that news source or media didn't have the intel that the soldiers did. You get what I'm saying?
I hear you loud and clear.
Yeah.
I think what it's come down to me is, and this is what I struggle with. Every time I hear something, now my first place of analytical evaluation goes to, are these people ignorant or are they evil? And I think the evil part is where the lie comes in. And I'll just give you a prime example. The WMD was a great example because I heard the same thing, and I also spoke with people who said they found stuff, whatever. But I think a good example. Let's go back to where all these I don't know if the riots or whatever started, but Trump's infamous good people on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if I'm a regular person and I saw the media and what they played, certain channels played, then I believe what they said is true. That makes me ignorant if I didn't watch the full speech or read the transcript. Now, as a journalist, if you watched the full speech or read the transcript, you clearly saw that he said he's not talking about the white nationalists and those groups. He's not talking about that. He's saying other than them, there were good people on both sides within that who were caught up in all this nonsense. Now, if you watch the full context of it, it's clear to me. I'm not a journalist. Journalists should be watching the full context.
I agree, first and foremost. But who's to say they had it? You have to remember one thing here.
Go
Who's to
ahead.
say that they had it? Because I don't know their sources. And they are so quick. They are so quick to get the story out there. They want to be the first to get the story. They don't worry about inaccuracies or accuracy. They
Sure.
they want to be the first one with what is it? Not talking points, but they want to be the first, and they will sensationalize and they will lie to get it,
Okay.
and it's all
Right.
about ratings.
So let me ask you the question then. So at what point, once you get this information out, let's say we give them the benefit of the doubt, what they're initially ignorant, like I call it, and then all of a sudden they have access because I can go Google it and I have access. So you can't tell me a journalist can't Google. Google's a verb these days. So at what point do these ignorant people become evil when they perpetuate the lie?
I
You can't tell me they have no access to it now.
Right. I understand. I understand. So if channel A posts something and it's inaccurate, as a journalist, I truly believe you have a duty to, when channel B posts the full video, you have a duty to go back and say, wow, we were mistaken. But I understand why they don't do that. You don't see more of that, because then you're going to lose what? Ratings, viewership. You know what I mean?
So you're basically saying these people are evil. They're doing it all for money.
I'm not going to use the word evil, but
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I'll change the word for all the sensitive people out there. So ignorant and misbehaving, childish. I don't know.
I'm not going to say ignorant neither, but
Well, ignorant's only got a negative connotation because we put it. Ignorant doesn't mean you're dumb. It just means you don't know something about a topic.
right. I would say that they're
Uninformed.
unfair.
Uninformed.
No, because the videos out there, they're informed.
Right.
Right. If more sources are out there, then they are informed.
We don't have to play semantics like they do, but it's
Right.
actually a very strategic tactic they use anyway. They put the rush the video out that's incorrect, and then if they correct it, it's later in such a small fine print or someplace people don't even see, and people already forgot about that or don't even see that. They
Right.
forget. But one of the other topics, and this is why I say evil, and I know you don't like it. I don't care. Evil, 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 evil. I'm going to keep saying it.
I didn't say I didn't like it. I just say I wouldn't use
Well, I'm going to use it because I'll tell you a glaring example
it.
is the printed media these days, whether it's on the web or print it. It's not just like the news, but you have seen news agencies print what they call clickbait title, and literally in the article, they debunk their entire title somewhere in the third paragraph or fourth paragraph. Literally contradict their title. But they know that the average person who's got to cook for their family, go work a job, isn't reading an entire article unless they're interested in it. But they do see the title, and that title sticks to them, and that's what they take home. It's deceptive.
Yeah, but it's.
You're okay with that?
I understand it.
How do you understand that?
Because you just called it clickbait, right?
Okay, all right. You understand why they're doing it, but you can't tell me that it's wrong. It's not wrong.
Yeah, I believe it's wrong.
It's completely wrong.
Yeah, I truly believe it's wrong. But I mean, everybody's trying to make the money.
But how do you? I mean, you ever heard of like as a police officer,
right?
Public trust.
Yeah,
like you're in a position of public trust. Like
they don't give a damn about public trust.
But that's what I'm saying. So they're destroying media. Period. They're destroying the news. Everything. They're destroying it.
Yeah, I think it's destroyed already.
Sure. But
I think there's right. I think when they have accomplished more probably than what they set out to. When you have, I'm just going to use a figure, half the country citing this right here is not a good source for information, and the other half is saying, well, that's not a good source for information. What's the good source? Like you use the word, well, how do you trust? Well, who do you trust for your information? Right?
Right.
So, and then I would add to that, if someone says, well, I trust, I was going to say ABC as an example. If I trust 1, 2, 3, then if I trust 1, 2, 3,
somebody already owns the alphabet. You can't use it.
Yeah. If I trust 1, 2, 3, then the question is why? Why do you trust them?
I'm sure you could articulate that because when they've told me this, that came true. When they did this, you could articulate that.
You show me a news source.
Well, I don't have one. That's why.
I know. But
I'm saying,
what I'm saying is, if you show me that news source, or anyone show me the news source, right, I guarantee you I'll show you at least 10 people or more that say they're not trustworthy. and they can cite why. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I just don't know. I think in the end, the truth will always prevail. So when you say who to trust, you trust the truth. And sometimes the truth is hard to find, but it will always surface at some point. Always.
Yeah, you have to keep looking for it.
Sure, sure. And like certain things people aren't even interested in looking for.
That's true.
So they don't want the truth. They just want to get their story and they want people to believe what they say.
Yeah, a lot of people are satisfied with that clickbait you mentioned.
I mean, but I'll go right back to the beginning. We just established that a certain news media took Trump's speech out of context, whether it was intentional or not, whether it was ignorant or evil, whether it was evil or ignorant. we both established and believe that in this day, they should have the truth by now because the whole bit of information is out there, right?
Right.
So we established that. So then why do I hear a presidential candidate and vice president candidate still parroting the original narrative of the story like they don't have access to the full story?
This is America.
I understand, but my
the video, let's just say the entire video is out there online, right?
Right.
So you really believe that people who dislike, you said it was Trump, so I'll just say Trump, dislike the president is going to go look at that video and say, wow, he didn't really, keep it in context. Wow, I guess he's a nice guy. No, it's not going to happen.
No, they don't have to say he's a nice guy, but they can clearly see that that was a lie. I mean, at the end, like I said, the truth is whether you have a bias or not, whether you think this hat is ugly or not, I mean, that's your opinion.
Right.
But this is a hat, right? You can't deny that what I'm wearing on my head, for anybody who can't see us, is a hat. You can't deny that. So that's the truth. So when you try to deny the truth because you don't like the person or your prejudice or your bias, eventually the truth is going to come out. So even if you don't like the president or what he stands for or whatever, when you watch the video, you can't tell me in your life you've never been wrong. I've been wrong before. I've believed something before, and then I've had some life-altering thing happen and say, holy cow, I've been wrong this whole time. Maybe deceived by my own bias or prejudice. But when the truth is in your face, you have to choose to deny it.
So when this happened to you, for you,
right?
What did you do with the information?
Be more specific, because if you're talking about what in my memory,
when you had this,
I'm losing my mind and forgetting.
Maybe it was through a significant event in your life, right, or through some repetition, right, that you had this epiphany, and you said, "Wow, I've been believing the sky is green all this time. It's blue. Right. I've been wrong." What do you do with that information? Do you share it?
Sure.
Right? I'm sure you've told other people.
Sure.
You've talked to people and you had this wrong opinion, let's say. It's not a wrong opinion, but this wrong view.
Sure. But
now you had this epiphany. Do you go back to those same people if you can? Or do you just start speaking from a different perspective now and start sharing your new opinion or your new view?
Well, I don't know what would be the difference. I mean,
the difference would be, it's just like if you're a news source. I put this information out. It was wrong. Wow, new video came out. Entire video came out. Shouldn't I go back to my audience and say, "Hey, I was wrong"?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. So the same thing. I put it on a personal level.
Right. I like you're taking my style. You're bringing it back in. Bring it back in.
Is it, I look at it from a personal perspective, and I say, I know that's something that I do, but the key is, no matter how many times I see something, when did I have this epiphany? You get what I'm saying? When did I have this? What changed? And whenever it changed, it doesn't matter. It's like, what do you do with that information?
Well, here's a great example. I mean, I'll bring it into my home. I am the provider of the house. I'm the final authority. I'm the ruler over my children, however you want to put it. And sometimes I've scolded my children for something or said something, and then I had to stop and think about it later. Well, the first thing I do, I go back to my child and I say, I yelled at you for this and I was wrong.
Yeah.
That's how you get respect.
Yeah,
That's
I've
how
done it.
people
Yeah,
believe you,
yeah,
because you admit when you're wrong. You gain trust and respect that way. You
that's
don't,
good.
right.
That's
So,
good. You know, because we're raising our children.
well, it's the same way with you, Mike. If I were to, sit here and say, Mike, or tell our audience that, we're sorry we're late because, I'm late or, whatever. And then I go back and say, oh, it was Mike that was late. And then I realize, no, it was me. I have to go back and change that and be like, sorry, Mike, I accused you of being late and it was actually me.
Right, right,
I have to make good with you because otherwise you won't trust me. Because once the truth comes out, if somebody said, hey, Mike, you were late, and you said, no, I wasn't. Now I'm a liar. Whether it was ignorance or evil, I'm still the one not telling the truth.
right,
I'm on the wrong side of the truth.
right. And this is one thing. This is why you very seldom will you hear me complain about people. Right, because and it's one thing that my wife, she couldn't stand this about me. I would say, like, she would say something and I would say, well, yeah, some people could say the same thing about us, or something could say the same thing about me, not
Yes.
in the same context of the story that's currently being discussed, but it might be something different that happened. Let's say take something like driving, and someone's coming on the highway and they hurry up and get into the lane or whatever. And man, he's an a-hole or whatever. Say, wow, I must have been an a-hole a lot of times in my life because I'm guilty of that.
No, no, no. You are in a hurry and they don't understand.
Exactly.
I've lived it, bro. I lived it. I'm not going, but see, here's the thing is I'm not lying. I'm telling you that I've done it. I've done it from
Right,
both
right,
sides and I was always right.
right.
Always right. Why is this guy on my butt? I'm not moving. He's on my butt. He shouldn't be in a hurry. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, get out of my way. And yeah. So I get it. That's human, but I can own up to it. You
Right.
know, I can
Well, the
own up
reason
to it.
why, yeah, the reason why I do it is because I just like to show people that I can acknowledge that at one point in my life, I was that person. You get what I
Well,
mean?
yeah, but you still could be that post. See,
Oh,
that's that
absolutely. Well, not with
that.
the driving.
Oh, no, no,
They
no.
say
Right,
I'm
right,
always driving Miss Daisy now, but
right,
that's a
right.
different topic.
But I mean, we're not perfect people. We're flawed. We all make
Right,
mistakes. I mean, I think the difference is when you talk about like integrity.
right.
Not everybody has integrity. You don't have to be smart to own up to your mistakes. I
So
mean,
now the topic at hand. Is there any journalistic integrity out there anymore?
well, I do believe there is. I mean,
I
I'm
do as
not going to
well.
bundle them all up in one thing. And
All right.
even within certain fake news media companies, they still probably have good journalists, probably not wanting to lose their jobs, so they write about horoscopes. You know what I mean? They're just not really probably living their dream. Well, you don't read your horoscope? I don't either. That's
No, I
witchcraft.
don't.
Witchcraft. I don't believe it.
No, just if you're not going to do it for yourself, why do we expect someone else or some other group being the media to do it? Why do we have that standard on someone else?
Well, I
And
think
you use the term public trust,
yes, I was going to go right
right?
back to that, but go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So you use the term public trust, and I think that's where there's a level of distinction there, if you will, to whereas Jim talking, the public doesn't trust him. You get what I'm saying? But
Well,
we trust the media
at
because
least
that's
we
how you
know,
started the whole story.
at least we know it wasn't you spanking the kids.
No, no, never.
Of course, I don't believe in it either. Um, but that's what I was trying to say. Just like teachers are put in a position public trust. So we have to trust not Mary, who's your neighbor, who's a teacher, Mary, who's your child's teacher.
Right.
Same person, but when she's your neighbor, if she drops trash in your yard, who cares? But if she's teaching your children, now there's a higher level of expectation. You have to trust that she's not doing something to your children that you can't control because you're not there. So I think when you take a position, a job that requires some level of public trust, you have to live to a higher standard. I mean, how would you feel in the military? We were given guns, bullets, authority to shoot and kill people. How would you think if people just wanted to go around and do whatever they wanted to do?
I agree.
So I think at the end of the day, the media is in a position of public trust because they're asking general, regular people like us to make opinions and modify our behaviors based on the information they're feeding us.
Exactly.
So if they're going to feed us information, even if it's ignorant, say, we don't have all the details, but check this out. They don't do that. I think that the media is fallen apart completely. And I think that's why the rise of YouTube has even been better. And no, we're
Right.
not journalists.
Right.
But
Just
there are
average
people,
guys.
there are people out there that I do watch that are journalists, and I trust them completely because they don't just make a statement. They tell me why. They show me where they got it. And even then, the only thing I have to debate is that source they got it from trustworthy?
Right.
But some of the people I watch actually tell you that, well, this is trustworthy because there's a website that grades all these and they say it. So they'll go 2 or 3 levels deep on the trust level. So at some point, I have to trust them because we have to trust somebody, right? We just can't say, oh, none of it's true. It's all lies.
I don't say that. I say there's some truth in everything.
Sure, of course.
You know, but is there a news source or some media source out there that I trust completely? I can't name one.
No, I agree.
Right.
But let's go back into your house again because I love this. I love bringing it to your house. So you got 2 siblings that come up and they both report 2 different things. One says he did it, one says she did it. Right? Contradiction right there. You already got a problem. It's in your house. How do you determine who did it?
Oh, I know.
Walk me through that because there is a process that you go through and there are factors and things that you determine why that's true. Tell me.
One thing is past behavior.
Okay.
Right?
That matters.
You can say the same thing. Yeah, you can say the same thing with a news outlet.
Correct.
You know, well, okay, like you said, well, they didn't tell me the truth on these last couple of election years. Why should I trust them now?
And they didn't even correct it. They didn't correct it when it was wrong.
That's the key. Right. That's the key. That's the key. They didn't admit to the lie once they were caught in a lie.
Right.
Going back to the kids now, right? So the next time my daughter says she didn't do it, I just look at her like, oh, really? Like the last time you didn't take the cookie out the jar?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I know I know who to believe now. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's the same thing with the news outlets of today.
So I would trust a news media who got it wrong 90% of the time and admitted it before I trust a media that's got 60% right and didn't admit all their wrongs. Does that sound fair or does that sound far-fetched? Because you know I'm making these numbers up.
Yeah, I know. I think that's I think that's a good statement for you. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Do you know that 90% of percentages are made up on the spot?
No, I didn't know that.
Think about that one.
Yeah, 90% of percentages
are made up. You can use any number
spot.
you want because you're making it up, right?
Yeah.
I'll use my number.
I heard it was 87%. But
there you go.
Yeah.
So media is ruining itself.
Yeah.
And I think that's good in a sense because it's allowing now social media to have a foot in the game. But I also want to talk about social media.
Okay.
Because I think social media has given us another outlet or platform.
Yeah.
But I think the problem with social media is anybody can post on social media.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Yes. And sometimes you got these, what do they call them? Keyboard warriors, you know, people who, and they sit behind a keyboard and they just put things and they know it ain't true. I mean, they're blatantly evil and they're doing things.
Yeah.
Yet that gets put out with all the general population, everything. And then how do they counter that? Then they counter that with people running these social media that are back to like our cancel culture that are deciding who's right and who's wrong.
Right.
So now even social media still has somebody that's either ignorant or evil above the ignorant or evil.
Yeah, absolutely right. But I truly believe it's because of that almighty dollar.
100%.
Yeah.
But I guess my problem is just like we're talking about, is we're regular average people. And I think a lot, or 90% of Americans, or should I say most Americans, there's a lot of average regular people who don't have time to find the truth in everything they hear. So they either have to trust what they hear or find a trusted source who's done the research.
Yes, but let's just say find their truth. People are out to find their truth.
But see, no, I agree with you. When I say agree, I agree with that's what's happening. But
Right.
I don't think that's the genuine answer because there is only one truth.
Exactly.
Two things can be true at the same time. That's correct. But there is only one truth behind everything.
Right. So what would you say is your top three reasons why the media is so bad today?
Oh, wow. Top three why they're so bad?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Why there's a lack of trust.
well, for one, I think I covered a bunch of them. For one,
Yeah.
I think they're intentionally being deceptive,
Mm,
basically because just like I said with the articles, when they write a headline and it's disproved in the bottom, it's clearly an intentional deception. Now,
right.
whatever the motive is, I don't care. It's intentional. At
Right.
that point, you've got editors, or these people are supposed to be educated, smart. They're supposed to be, they're paid. Some of them paid very well. And then they're intentionally saying something that they know is not true because it's written in the article,
Right.
or they embellished it. And to me, that's the same thing, whether it's a commission or omission, a live commission or omission, it's still the same to me. And then I also think that they're hiding behind selective journalism.
Mm,
And what I say about that is it's one thing to know the truth and report it and then correct it. But if you're only focusing on, like, example, Orange Man bad, and you're not reporting, like, even I'll give another idea. If you're only focused on um, cops, white cops killing black people, and you could care less about, black people killing white cops, then you're doing a disservice because now you're misleading the public into thinking one thing is happening and the other is not. So it's another form of
another
deception.
bad example, but let's carry on.
What do you mean it's a bad example?
I I would say if you only care about white cops killing unarmed black people and you don't care about any other cop killing an unarmed person, yeah, that's bad.
Well, it's the same example. I'm just using two different scenarios. Right.
Right.
Okay. You put it. You kept this, the denominators the same. That's
Right.
fine. We'll keep that. All right. I like your example too. But either way, the point I'm getting at is you're only reporting one side from one objective because that's what you want to push.
Right.
Um, and the second or the third thing I think is really destroying them is they are trying to spend all their time belittling or demeaning or degrading or whatever word you want to give it, other news agencies or people
Mm,
instead of promoting their own trust. Like they're more focused on bringing other people down than they are about bringing them up.
yeah.
And I think if they took that focus, they can run with that and probably just improve their ratings tremendously.
Over time, I can agree. I think one of the big things that I mentioned earlier was they want to be the first with the gotcha.
Right.
They want to be the first one with the storyline. They want to be the first one out there so they can be that trusted source for information. We're the first on the scene,
Right.
right? That's number one. And they don't care about inaccuracies. And when it comes to inaccuracies, if you don't go back and correct it, like we said, after the information's been out there, then you're a part of that sensationalism in our media that's doing us a disservice.
Right.
If
Right.
it's 90% of the percentages,
No, you're on
trust
80,
me,
87. You're on
80,
87.
87, but then the next news outlet is going to say 90%.
Right.
They have to one up each other. And it
Right.
goes along with what you said about they spend more time denigrating another media platform and not pushing their truth,
Right.
not pushing the truth,
Sure. It's
truth in reporting.
right. And I think it's gone beyond the level of ignorance. I really do. I just
Right.
feel like this is not ignorance
It's
anymore.
intentional.
There's a certain point where you really know what you're saying is wrong, and I'm sure
It's
you
hard to
could,
prove, though.
well, yeah, of course, intent is always hard to prove. That's why a lot
Right.
of these crimes in our laws, they're always having lesser offenses,
Yeah.
pleading down and all that because it's hard to prove. But I think we talked about the cameras. Like when you lean into the police field, the cameras are part of the truth.
Yeah.
It's a piece of evidence. It's like, so if I have a piece of evidence that shows one thing, but I only show you the first 10 seconds of it, and you know the next 10 seconds will totally contradict what just happened in the first 10 seconds, then you're intentionally doing it wrong. I mean, I know it goes back to you're ignorant if you don't have all 20 seconds of the footage.
Right.
But if you do and you only show 10 seconds, that's intentional. I mean, it's clearly intentional.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I
think,
agree.
I think
100%.
it's just 100%. I like that one. Well, not 1,000?
The highest I go on that, Jim, is
All right,
150%.
100%. All right, I'll buy that. All right, so we done beating this media up.
Yeah, I like to put all the media outlets on an island and nuke it.
Yeah, I'd like to just fire everybody, clean house, and just bring in real journalists again.
Yeah.
People who want to actually get to the bottom, get to the truth, and not get clickbait. But I don't know if you could do that, because maybe this is actually coming from the top. You know what I mean? Maybe there's a lot of people who feel, maybe a lot of people feel like they have no choice but to report stuff. And I think
I believe,
was that the ABC, was ABC with the Epstein thing? When that lady came out and said, I did a whole thing on this like 2 years ago, and they didn't air it.
Right.
That proves right there. Like, people in the media are trying to do their job, and they're being held down by somebody.
Yeah.
So, all right. I think we badgered it, unless you got something else you want to say, some final thought on the media.
No, I think our 3 main reasons covered it all.
Well, let me ask you this, just one question. If you had to rank the 2, which one's higher, mainstream media or social media?
Higher in what regard?
Respect that you'll watch, you'll go to for your information.
Oh, social
media.
Yeah.
But you'll still have to choose wisely on what social media you go to.
Yes.
Of course. It's still a
it's the same thing.
Game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just have my mom email me everything and be like, hey Mom, what's going on? Yeah. Oh, great.
Yeah.
Right. Anyways.
You ready to pull the pin on that one?
Yeah, let's pull the pin on that. Let's move on to our segment. That is the namesake, Pull the Pin Already. And as always, it's something that we just find irritating in the world we live with, and we just want to share it and get it off our chest. So you want to start, Mike, or?
Yeah, I'll start, Jim.
All right. I know it's something near and dear to you, so go for it.
Okay, you took the first 10 seconds of my spiel.
You could say it again.
Well, Jim, this is something near and dear to me. And I've been going through this for some years now. I don't know if anyone else has, okay? If you have, please let us know. Let me know what you did to take care of this. But you know how you get, what do they call it now? Spam mail, right? And at the bottom, they always say you can unsubscribe. I just recently learned that when you hit unsubscribe, it lets them know that there is a human at the end of that email. So now it's going to be longer for you to get rid of that spam. Whoever sends spam, I think we should hand them the grenade and pull the pin, Jim. Please.
Yeah,
it could be a smoke grenade, powder grenade, whatever. But I think we should pull the pin.
I think when your spam folder has more email than your inbox, something needs to be done.
Yeah.
All right.
What do you have on deck there?
Well, I'm going to move way away from the inbox.
Okay.
I'm going to the airport.
Whoa. Okay.
I'm going to the airport because let me tell you, I don't fly a lot anymore, but when I did fly, I know it's about money, but I have no idea what the engineer who built these airplanes was thinking. I don't know what person, did they use little 4-foot Chinese people to model the layout? I mean, I'm not a short guy. I consider myself somewhat taller, but I can't tell you how many times my knees are jammed against the seat in front of me. And of course, it's got to be some overweight person that can't sit still, or some child, and they're constantly pushing back and jamming my knee. And that's okay for an hour or half-hour flight, which I don't take many of them. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to have to sit there for 4-6 hours with your knees pinned up against the seat in front of you at the prices we already pay, of course, yeah, go to first class. Yeah, right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So why in the heck did they have to, all they have to probably do is take out one row of seats, one row, charge the first class people a little bit more and scoot us a little bit further. It just blows my mind. It just makes it miserable.
Yeah, yeah. If you really look at the seating on airplanes, you'll see that it's not made for the average, I'm going to say person, not American, but just person in general.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I totally agree. I totally agree.
Done with it. I mean, I wouldn't
But
pull the pin on the plane because that would be a bad idea.
right,
I'm pulling the pin on the engineers who designed the plane, even if they were told by the companies that fly the plane. I don't
right.
care. You
They
say
want to
this
be
is
able to
not
get more
practical.
seats on their
Yes.
plane. That's the main goal.
And that's it. I know it's about money. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
But I'm done with that.
Why do we always come to that?
Everything's about money. Come on.
Yeah, I know, right? Every single thing, man. But
Yep.
I like that one though. Pull
Yeah.
the pin on the plans or the engineers who
And that's what we're
design
going to
the
do.
plans.
Pulling the
Okay.
pin on that.
All
All
right.
right. So that is all the time we have. So thank you so much for joining us here at Pull the Pin already. We hope you like what we do here. We hope you share, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And we'd like to really hear what you guys have to say. Well, Mike doesn't want to hear what you guys say. I want to hear what you guys say. Actually, Mike does want to hear what you guys say because Mike wants to hear if you disagree with him.
That's
Because
right.
Mike loves a good conversation. That's why he's here with me.
That's right. Good conversation. I love it.
He knows I'm going to bring something crazy out of there. But please leave a comment. Let us know if you think, Mike was crazy or Jim's crazy. I'm sure it's probably Jim. But let us know. Leave a comment below. And thanks. And see you next time.
And pull the pin.